Hello, my name is William Harjo. I am a full-blood Indian of the Muskogee Creek Nation. And I grew up in Oklahoma. I now live in Texas. And I want to tell you a story about this lady who was well known as one of the best bread bakers for her time. She was well known throughout the community as being the best. And anytime you went to a gathering or a get-together of some kind, you would notice a beautiful loaf of bread there. And you knew that she was there just by seeing the beautiful loaf of bread. And every day, this woman, she always wore a black dress, she always wore a white apron, and she always wore a red bandana. And one day, this woman is at home, and this old man, he was come walking into her yard and took his walking stick and started tapping it on her door and got her attention. And when she came to the front door and answered, this old man began speaking to her. He says, Jalawidos, I'm hungry. He says, Yavatsanadet, I see Vatsanadaway. I'm coming from this way and I'm going that way. And I'm traveling. And I wonder if you might have something I could eat. And she says to him, yes, I bake bread pretty good. And I could bake you some bread. And he said, oh, that would really be nice. Says, yeah. She says, I'll get you some water and you can refresh yourself while I go inside and bake you some bread. He says, oh, that sounds so good. So she went inside to bake her bread. She gathered up all her ingredients. She got her oven, built just right. Got the stove built just right and got all her ingredients together. And then she put it into oven like she's done many times. And this time, after a few minutes, when she opened the door and looked at it, she was truly amazed. She says, wow, this is the most beautiful loaf of bread that I have ever baked. Oh, my. I got to get together. I'm going to here pretty quick. So I'd like to take this one with me. So she wraps it up and puts it away. And then she gathers up some more ingredients and she puts it all together and starts making a second loaf of bread. And she put this one into the oven. And after a few minutes, when this one was ready and she pulled it out, she was really amazed again. She says, wow, this is the most beautiful loaf of bread. Well, the second most beautiful loaf of bread that I've ever baked. And so she says to herself, well, I might need more than one loaf of bread at this get together. So I'm going to go on ahead and save this one too. And then she put that one away. And then she put her ingredients together again and made a third loaf of bread. And this time when the third loaf of bread came out, it was just as beautiful as the other two. And she made a reason, she made an excuse to keep that one too. So she wraps it up and then she puts it away. And then she looks around and she's out of ingredients. She says, oh my, what am I going to do? I'm all out of ingredients. Oh, I'll know what I'll do. So she goes back out the front door to this old man that's sitting there waiting for something to eat. And she tells him, oh, I am so sorry. I've looked everywhere and I've looked everywhere. And I just cannot find anything to bake you any bread with. This old man, he says, I understand. So he got up and he started to walk away from her house. After he took a few steps away from her house, he turns around and with anger, he stomps his foot. And when he stomps his foot, thunder came out of the sky and shook the house. And she's standing there in front of this old man and she's starting and all frightened and afraid. And he begins speaking to her, and says, Terwa Kishitsa, do you know who I am? Kishlaks, I don't know. I've never seen you before. He says, I'll tell you who I am. I'm his Agidamisi. I'm the giver of life. I'm the master of rest. And if it were not for me blessing you today, you would not have baked those 3 beautiful loaves of bread, which you're not willing to share with me. And since you're not willing to share with me today, something terrible is going to happen to you. And he stomped his foot again. When he done this, thunder came out of the sky and shook the house again. And this time, this woman, she started shrinking. And she started shrinking. She started getting smaller and smaller. And as she was getting smaller, the black dress that she wore started turning into black feathers. And the white apron that she always wore started turning into white feathers on the breast of this bird. By the time this bird was 3.5, 4 inches tall, the red bandana she always wore on her head now had turned into red feathers, and she was transformed into a woodpecker. And this old man, he speaks to her one more time and tells her, since you were not willing to share with me today, all your ancestors will have to peck wood for survival. And the woodpecker flew up into the trees, and that's where it remains today. Today it still remains in the trees, pecking wood for survival. Mado.